Here's the harsh truth about attracting more people, more patients into your practice. It is not about having more exposure. It's not about getting in front of more people. It is actually about the kinds of people you are attracting and if it's a good avenue for you to be going that route in attracting them. If attracting patients was just tied to more people knowing about you, then if you were to run ads or be posting on social media, you would just end up being solidly booked with patients. But is that really the case? If you've been doing a lot of different things and you're getting in front of people, but you're not actually bringing patients in the door, exposure doesn't always equal patients. Exposure doesn't always just equal patients. Being in front of the right people who could really benefit from your services is the key to attracting more patients into the practice. You might think, well, let me just be on social media, network, and get in front of people, talk to people. But doesn't that feel so exhausting? You would just much rather see patients than having to do all sorts of things like that. And it can be pretty exhausting. Just think about having to get out of your house and then be talking to strangers you don't know, trying to strike up conversations, trying to get them interested in knowing more about your practice. And maybe they're trying to get your interest in knowing more about their business too. And all this energy, but little return for the effort that you're putting in, and then you're wiped out. Have you ever experienced that before? It could just be so discouraging because you might feel like if I just knew what to do, I'll do it, right? And if I just had a way that attracts patients, I will do it. I will say that I've talked to thousands of holistic practitioners at this point over the years. And many times I will ask them, well, what's working in the practice? And they'll share with me, and they'll also share with me what's not working to grow the practice. Of all the different approaches that people have shared with me, hands down, speaking is still one of the most effective ways to attract good quality leads into the practice. Why? Because many times when they aren't coming to you yet, it's because they don't know about you and how you can help. But when you are able to educate them more about that, and they get to see if they resonate with you or not, then they're more likely to come in. Because being a holistic practitioner is like, to them, it's a personal kind of a relationship where they want to see if they would like you, if they resonate with you. Have you ever felt that way when you have chosen providers too for yourself? So that's important when people are trying to decide. And it's very hard to know as much about you from a post on social media or just seeing an ad. So it's hard for people to get to know you as well as if you were able to be in front of a captive audience that was deciding to be there at that particular time to listen to you. And you're automatically seen in a different limelight when you're speaking. You're automatically seen as, oh, this person is an expert because they're the guest speaker. So if you would like to be getting more patients into the practice and people finding out about you, putting yourself on the map more, where you hit a tipping point, where people end up knowing about you and coming to you, it's just such a different feeling when that's happening versus you always having to post on social media or constantly having to worry about whether you're going to be busy enough to cover the bills. Instead of that, actually be able to educate more people about all the amazing things that you could help them with. Because the truth is that many people don't actually know about options that could be helpful for them. And they only know about either the conventional approach or whatever approach that they're doing right now, which may not be working that well. So it's up to you to be able to educate people on how you could help and make this more mainstream where people are actually asking for it. Because when people are asking for it, that's when things will change. It's not going to be the drug companies changing things. It's not going to be the insurance companies changing things. It's not going to be the government that changes things. It really starts with you being able to get the word out about your practice. If not you, then who? If not you educating, then who? Especially if you would love to, if you see yourself as a visionary, especially if you feel like you're called for more, if you're called to help more people than the number of people you're helping right now, then you being a beacon for possibility for people is going to be so powerful in this ever shifting landscape of our healthcare system, where I believe that there are more people who are open to holistic options now, which is so amazing compared to 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And at the same time, it's not as mainstream as it really could be yet. When there's still people out there who don't understand functional medicine, when there's still people out there who would not fathom seeing an acupuncturist because they think it's woo-woo, when there's actually science behind it, when there are people who won't see a chiropractor because all they think about is a chiropractor who cracks backs and that's all they do, and that just sounds like to them, right? Like, and they don't even realize the extent of the benefits of chiropractic. And when people still view naturopathic medicine as, I don't even know what that is, like, what do you guys do, right? And when that's still the case for a lot of people across this country, that means we haven't educated people enough. And it's not going to be it's not going to be like medical doctors educating people about it because they don't know about it. And it's not going to be the drug companies educating people. It's not going to be insurance companies educating people. It's not going to be the government educating people, right? And so if you don't step up and be a part of this movement, it's going to happen slower. There's no reason why people need to be suffering because they don't know about you. So I hope this is inspiring you to, especially if you feel like you have this pull to be educating more people and speaking, you could be doing that in person or via webinar, for example. How is this better than social media? Because people are on social media just checking out, oh, what's going on with my friends, or does this look good? Or they're not there because they want to look for a solution for their health issue. That's not why they're there. So they might look at your thing and then they might hop off to do something else. So the time from seeing you and then deciding to work with you, it can be a lot longer than if you were actually in front of them. You had their attention. They were listening to you attentively about what you have to say. The time of them seeing you and then deciding to work with you is usually a lot shorter than social media. If they see you on social media, they might need to see you over and over again until they're like, oh, okay, maybe I should book an appointment or something, right? So the amount of effort you need to put into that is a lot more as well. Why is speaking in front of a live audience, whether in person or webinar, better than if you were just like doing a video? So similarly, a video, people might see it and then they get distracted. Like attention span is like a goldfish these days, right? But if you are able to be in front of an audience that has decided at that time they're going to be watching you and listening to you, then it's a very different experience than just seeing you in a fleeting way. They will see you in a different limelight because you're speaking, and they've actually set aside the time to listen to you. So they're usually much more qualified leads. And at a certain point in time, you're going to hit a snowball effect too, where it's like you start getting recognized. People will know about you. If you think about this, just think about the kinds of conferences you might attend. And think about the speakers that you've noticed speak almost every year. Like every time you always see them there. How do you perceive them? You perceive them as, oh, they are an expert in this. Is it really because they're so much better clinician than everybody else in the world? Not always. They might be pretty strong clinically, but it's not like they're like the absolute best, right? But they are willing to educate and teach and speak. That's what differentiates them from perhaps an even better clinician who just keeps their mouth shut and doesn't really educate or teach when you know you could help people. The most unfortunate thing is to have this gift or have these clinical skills and not be able to actually use them to help people. That is actually where people aren't getting better because they don't even know about you. So consider speaking. And if you feel nervous about it, or you feel intimidated, or you feel like that's like too big of a league for you, I totally get it. I grew up in a family that was very strict. So my dad's a PhD research scientist engineer and first generation immigrants from Taiwan. So they had a pretty tight leash on me and my sister. I remember when I was around 8 years old that I used to feel jealous of other kids. Every Sunday morning, I would think, oh, these kids are so lucky. Other kids were really lucky. They got to open up the comic pages of the paper and read it, whereas I would have to do these current event talks that my dad had me do every Sunday. And it was absolutely dreadful. I hated it. He's very left brain. He critiqued me to the point where I cried every week. It was a very traumatic experience for me. And I remember saying to myself that I will never speak when I grow up. Like, I didn't want to feel so inadequate. But because I really enjoyed teaching was how I got into speaking. So what happened was that as a little kid, I loved to teach. My idea was of fun was to get worksheets from my third grade teacher, for example, and then gather the kids around the neighborhood and give them homework. That was my idea of fun. And so it was because of this desire to teach that I decided I want to learn how to speak. And so there's a part of me that felt really like uncomfortable. And then there's a part of me that had this desire to reach more people and help more people and educate them. And so it was from that I decided, okay, I can learn this thing. And I went on this journey of learning how to speak and also attract clients into my business. I'm a great example of if I could do it, then you could totally do this. I remember when I first started speaking, I would get so nervous. My heart would race so fast. And then I would feel like I wanted to just disappear, where like nobody just couldn't see me anymore. Because I literally would say things that didn't make any sense at all. And then I would feel really embarrassed. So it was absolutely dreadful, right? But the only reason I decided to speak more I thought, I want to educate people. I want to teach. Like that's just so much in my blood, so much in my heart. And so that's what led me to learn it. So it's something that totally can be learned. And so I'm actually really excited because we have had the most amazing 6-figure speaking makeover mentorship for introverts cohort that we've ever had. And I'm helping them with dialing in one signature talk that brings in patients or another stream of income. And it ends up being a repeatable process that you could put in place within your practice. If you would love to be working with more patients, great, get booked and invited to speak. And so really helping our clients with this. There's so many benefits of this. Like many of them end up sharing with me that they end up feeling more confident even clinically by getting this in place. And it just naturally sharpens how effective you are in communicating the benefits of your modality and how it lands for people. So naturally, it ends up helping the practice in ways that you would have never imagined as well. So I'm super excited because our final cohort for the year is starting soon. And I would love to have you join us if you feel like there must be a better way of attracting patients into the practice. And you also like the idea of educating and teaching and helping more people know about the benefits of your modality, whether it's acupuncture, chiropractic, naturopathic, functional medicine, health coaching. If you really feel that pull, but you just don't know how to get booked for opportunities, or you don't know what to say that will actually translate into patients, because it's a different skill set to just be educating versus educate and inspire new patients to come from it. So helping you with that, and then really getting this a repeatable process in place for attracting a flow of patients and another stream of income into the practice, then DM me, and happy to share more details and see if it could be a good fit. And some of our clients are actually using it as a way to attract patients into the practice. And some of our clients are offering different things, whether it's automated online course, or they are offering group programs or workshops and experiences, or some of our clients are using it as an avenue to educate more people about whatever they're offering. That's another, like a passive income stream, whether it's the supplements or products. So there's a whole range of what you could do with this. We also have clients who figured something out clinically or on the business side of things, and then they are choosing to now focus on helping other practitioners with that. And so they have either group programs or something that's more automated that people can actually purchase. And they're using this as a way to get the word out and putting themselves on the map that way. So some of our clients, their main businesses is herbs or supplements, and then doing more wholesale in front of providers or in front of patients, like direct to consumer kinds of things. And they're using this as an avenue to put themselves on the map and really start getting seen as a go-to brand, because there's nothing else that could replace you getting seen as a go-to brand than something like being known by speaking and teaching. Ads don't always do that for you. And posting on social media all the time doesn't always do that for you. Networking one-on-one doesn't always do that for you, but speaking absolutely does. If you look at all the people you recognize in your profession, look at what they have in common. Many of them speak. So I'm excited to help you. If you would love to join us and really express yourself even more fully as a visionary, and then also be bringing in more patients and another stream of income by reaching more people, then feel free to DM me. I am super excited to help you. Chat soon.